Hey guys, welcome to Flow State episode 18. Today we're joined with a very special guest, comedian and Australian legend, the suburban footballer, Mr. Tom Siegert. What are we talking about today, Tommy?
Quite a variety of things, guys. Shower cubicles, tripping out on magic mushrooms, and writing a book. So covering all bases.
It's a ride. It is certainly a ride to come along on for. So check it out, episode 18. Tom Seigert of Flow State Podcast, guys. Thanks so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we've got a very special guest. Tom Siegert is here with his big headphones. How's it going, Tommy?
Yeah, very well, thanks. I did just notice those in the little video. They look like something off Star Wars, like Princess Leia or something.
Look like a Cyberman from Doctor Who.
Yeah,
we all do though, don't we? All
yeah.
a little bit. I heisted my PlayStation once because the things I've been using for ages are shit.
Yeah. Some people can suit headphones, I think, though. I don't think we're any of those people.
No, we're not.
No. My shiny head. Yeah, it doesn't suit Zoom at all, actually. My whole look I've got going on. But anyway, what do you do?
What's been happening with you, Tom, with this, not doing many gigs, obviously, because of the lockdown and everything? What have you been up to, mate?
Yeah, the gigs, the footy season's pretty much my busiest time of the year, and I was booked up till September, and then, it was literally overnight. It was just, I think I had 14, 15 cancel within 24 hours, and then, and now we don't even ring. Clubs don't even ring to cancel. It's just a given that it's not happening. So so a lot of spare time. But I've still got a day job, so that keeps me busy. But even that, working from home a bit now. I've just taken the opportunity to a lot more family time. But I do a lot of writing that I've never I think what everyone's doing, the old to-do list that was never getting done. Hopefully, trying to pick my way through those, make a few little videos and do a bit of stand-up writing. And I've so many things I'd heard about Netflix. We had Netflix just sitting there, and I had all the stuff I'd heard about and hadn't watched it. We got through Better Call Saul in about 3 days.
Is that on Netflix now?
No. We did what's that? Stan. So we got Stan. We did the old 1 month trial, and then watched Better Call Saul in 3 days, and then
knocked it out within that trial.
I got the first 2 seasons on DVD, but I haven't seen the third one yet, so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, it's up to 5.
What?
It's up to 5.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. He's getting too old though. It's supposed to be a prequel. He's like fucking 60. Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, they've done an amazing job of. It's just the hair, I guess. This one keeps going backwards and forwards a bit, but it's so good. So there's one left. So there's Series 6, which they're writing at the moment. So no one really knows what's happened and what's going to happen. But there's a few characters starting to show up that the reason you got on board.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
So you say the day job's keeping you pretty busy, mate, as well. Your day job's not cancelling football-themed comedian gigs, is it?
Well, that was pretty busy. That was nearly full time for a couple of days.
Yeah, I bet. Well, that's the thing. What I was going to ask is, I've never had anything that I hold so, close to me, go so wrong due to a global fuck up. Will you forget the first couple of cancellations and do you get really upset and then it's just go, 5, that's fine, 10, 15, oh fuck, that's getting a bit crazy?
I reckon it took a week to sink in, and then I'm a fairly positive person, and it didn't take long to think, well, fuck, it's not going to last forever. Can you swear on this? Not going to last forever. So make the most of it. I think the last thing you want to do is get to the end of it, whether it's 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, or whatever, and you've all you're doing sitting around, being pissed off. You may as well make the most of it. I've got into running again. I've run a half marathon the other day, and spending more time with the kids, obviously. Just doing all the things. Yeah, put the toilet paper holder back on the wall, which has been fucking sitting on the ground for about 9 months. Just the little 1%ers that just don't get done.
It's those little things around the house. The brownie points.
But really, mate, really enjoying it. I was actually, I reckon I haven't stopped for. I I love having a full diary, and I haven't stopped for years, 5 years, and this has really just stopped and back to basics. And get home from work Friday night, have a shower, and then sit down and watch TV. And I reckon I'm gonna have trouble getting started again because it's going back to being busy. I think a lot of people do. It's been it's been massive change.
You'll be running around the house trying to find all the squeaky doors and drawers and shit before you have to go back. Though,
I think they're all fixed. Well, that's why Bunnings is up. Apparently, my day job. I work for a company that supplies to Bunnings, and by all reports, they're up about 100 million on an already high budget because
weekend warriors.
That exact reason. Everyone's, it's instead of going to, going down the coast or going to the beach, it's just
go to Bunnings. The longest long weekend of all time.
Just doing shit around the house. But which is probably not such a bad thing. It's trying to happen under these circumstances. But I think we had to go back to basics a little bit.
It's a bit of a hard reset. It's a bit of a recalibration, I think. But I think once it's all over, Tommy, I think it's going to pick up even more than what it was for you. Would you say, like for entertainment in general, arts and music?
Footy clubs. I think, sadly, I think this year's a write-off. I don't think clubs are going to go back. But once the restrictions are lifted, even though there's going to be no footy, I think everyone's going to want a little. Going to want a function, just one function, so they got something out of the year. So I think, how many? 1,000 clubs in Australia. So every club looking to have one big function. So if you can, gag 20 of those, 30 of those, you're doing all right.
They probably have them all on the same fucking night just to screw you over.
And the pubs. I mean, the pubs are crying poor at the moment, and it's. But imagine when, and this, I reckon we'll get 3 months of this when the pubs are open but people aren't allowed at the footy. I mean, imagine because you're sitting at home and watching it, shit. So everyone with no crowd, the pubs are just going to be rocking, and hopefully live music's the same. Hopefully everyone's want to make up for lost time and go and support their local band. So hopefully there's been a bit of a build up and it just explodes once we're allowed back.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I hope so.
And
really.
I'm starting to wish I put my drink in a slightly cooler bloody bottle here. I was trying to work out how I can sink this without getting.
You have to do it like this.
That does look cool with those headphones on.
Yeah.
So,
bottle of water.
Tom, do you reckon there'll be more pregnancies during lockdown or after people are allowed to go and get pissed at the pub?
I reckon it's going to be an explosion of pregnancies and an explosion of
abortions.
I wasn't going to go down there. I was thinking more breakups and divorces.
Yeah.
If you're 50-50, this was the big test. This was thrown in the deep end.
That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of rooting happening.
Yeah, but you feel for those couples that perhaps were on the rocks about to she was starting to look around for somewhere else, and all of a sudden they're
locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in. I mean, what a nightmare.
And that's the tough thing too. Is
a lot of people.
Yeah, well, home's not.
I reckon I've seen it
for some people. So some people have to get locked into their own personal hell, which is just to take it on a darker twist. But yeah, it's fucked up, man. Hopefully those people make it out okay sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Well, there was the big. That was one of the big. And I don't mean to take it down a fairly dark path, but there was the bit when this first happened. There was all the talk of how domestic violence was going to go through the roof, which I haven't really heard too much about, which is, I guess, a positive. No news is good news, I guess. But that was.
Fucking hope so.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
No, just make a little note and edit that bit out later, I guess.
No, I think I can't speak for statistics, but let's all hope that it's down.
Yeah, let's all hope. That it's brought out the best in everyone. I know it did with everyone's panic buying. It really brought out the best in everyone.
It did. So, also, that toilet roll holder would never have got fixed if it wasn't for this COVID. So it's looking at it.
Still be on the floor.
Well, you need it now more than ever with 150 rolls of toilet paper, right? So
yeah, I know. I was one of the few that didn't get in. Yeah, so we did have a bit of a shortage for a bit there, but
You're in trouble if you got no toilet rolls, but you did get 150 microwave curries.
yeah. No, true that.
Yeah.
So give me a bit of a career rundown, Tom. I want to know a little bit more about you for the uninitiated, because Cody's shown me some of the stuff you've done in the past, and I think it's fucking brilliant. I really enjoy it. And mentioned that you've written a book and you've got some sales going on that. And but I did a bit of a stalk on you and noticed that you did a bit of work on the Footy Show.
Yeah, I was on the Footy Show for a bit. So I love my footy. I've played footy since I was 10. Started comedy, I think. I'm not great on years, but I think it was 16 years ago, maybe 16, 17 years ago. So I started within a week of Troy Kinney and Dave Thornton, Monty Franklin, who's gone overseas now, and a guy called Daniel Carmody, who doesn't do it anymore. And the five of us were, thick as thieves. So we did every gig together, and we'd be ringing each other every night, trying to work out new material. And it was great starting out with a, we didn't know each other before the comedy. 5 like-minded people that it was, as you guys know, it just becomes an obsession pretty quickly. And, mate, we were, just so into it. We're out every night, just absolutely loving it. I think we're probably all single at the time, so weren't expected, didn't have that many commitments elsewhere, just out every night doing gigs and just loving it. And from there, I done a couple of stints on the Footy Show. I think remember Trev Marmalade?
Yep.
He was the guy behind the bar. He'd been there in the role for about 14 years, and I wrote for him for about 4 weeks, and he got the sack. So
did you?
that was fine. Yeah. So
was that related at all, or
no? It was. I think it was on the cards for a little bit, but I stayed on as a writer.
When you worked in that role on the Footy Show, like, did you take on a bit of Trev? I saw like a slight similar, like you were ribbing the boys on the panel and stuff like that in the same way that Trevor Marmalade did. Was it all in the same sort of vein? Or did you try and add your own to it?
They did talk to me at one stage about getting on there like a bit like Trev, and I said I was going to be sitting on a bench instead of behind the behind the bar. But I thought it was just a bit. I thought it was just a bit too similar, and I was going to always be the bloke that the guy trying to be like Trev. And the hair's gone now, but I had a bit of a Trev look. I've still got the dark rings under the eyes, so I looked a bit too close to him to be trying to pull that off. But
I always thought. Sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, I always thought Trevor Marmalade looked like a drawing that guy on Hey Hey It's Saturday used to do. Like he used to just do that drawing, and it was just Trevor Marmalade every time he drew
Trevor Marmalade.
Yeah. Great features. Had the big eyes.
He did.
But he was a good guy, Trev. So
did you actually do your hammy in that Thursday evening when on the Footy Show there when they pulled the hammy off the bone? Was that you?
No, it was. No, I think it was Gary that did the Gary Lyon did the hammy. I played the.
He had the ham.
The big role of the butcher. I was the local butcher. So
I remember that. Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Times.
And then I went back a second time as I was going to play a regular part as the suburban footballer, which is the character I came up with 4 or so years ago, and it was all going really well. And I was going to be doing a regular 2-minute, 1 to 2 minute spot every Thursday night. And the first night was just an absolute cracker. Couldn't have gone better. It was stuff that I knew worked because it was stuff that I did on my when I did my live show. So I was pretty confident, and I knew it off by heart, and it did go really well with the live audience. But I used to G the crowd up before the shows. So the big studio audience, it was just perfect for comedy. Like the acoustics was unreal, and the sound was awesome. And so I used to G the crowd up before the show, and I used to do the nicknames. So I used to go through all the nicknames. It's one of the most popular parts of my live show, and I just run through my best nicknames of all time. And Eddie Maguire saw this, and he came to me a few weeks later, about 4 weeks in, and said, called me into the office and said, "Tommy, this week you're doing, we're going to give you the best, first, just before the first commercial break, when everyone's watching, when it's at its peak, and we're going to get you to get up there and give us your top 10 nicknames." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing it, Eddie, because because every time, everything I do on TV, it no longer works at my live show. I learned that the hard way the first time.
Yeah.
So I said, mate, I'm not doing it. Like, every time I want to do a live show, it's in front of 120 people. Every time I do this thing on the footy show, 250,000 people see it in a split second, and that 250,000 people that aren't going to laugh next time they see it. And he goes, hey, you're going to do it, Tommy. And I said, nah, mate.
Suck my dick, Eddie Maguire. Can't you fucking hear me? Sorry.
That was it. And I'm a mad Collingwood supporter. So half of me's going, oh, fuck, I'm getting told off Eddie Maguire. I'm in a fight with Eddie Maguire. And the other half's going, fuck, how good's this? I'm having a fight. I can't wait. Who am I going to tell first? And we went backwards and forwards, and the producer was in the middle, and Eddie eventually, you could just see him going redder and redder. And he eventually said, fuck, he goes, I don't know what is with you fucking comedians. He goes, if I go see AC/DC, I want them to play Thunderstruck. And if they don't play Thunderstruck, I'm pissed off. And you go, if I see the suburban footballer, I want him to do his best material, and you're not doing your best material. And I said, mate, if I go see AC/DC, if I've heard Thunderstruck 1,000 times, I'm still singing along to Thunderstruck, and it's the greatest moment. It's unbelievable. If I go a comedian and I've heard his punchline, it's never as good the second time. By the third time, it's shit. So, so
it's only good for 2 tries.
It's a massive difference. And funny, and I was, and it got quite not heated, but it was like inside. Animated. And then the next, so I went home that day, and I was really stewing about it. So I just sat down and punched out an email to him and the producer, basically saying, I just didn't want to do it anymore. Fuck it. It was the whole show.
Oh, really?
It was great people there. The show was in a bit of free fall anyway. So I said, I said, let's just cut our losses and
pulled the pin.
Pulled the pin. They got me back for one more, maybe 2 more episodes a couple of months later, and it was funny. The very next morning after my argument with Eddie, I was going to work. So the next day at about 7 a.m. And it was back when Eddie was on the radio with Will Anderson. They were doing the morning show.
Yep. Jumped
in the car, straight put on Triple M, and Eddie's fucking drilling Will, going, look, you go see AC/DC. What is it with you? And I'm like, is he still fucking going on about this? So
he hasn't stopped.
That's amazing.
And then the producer wrote back saying, no hard feelings, Tom. All good, whatever you want to do. And we sort of, it was quite amicable in the end, which was really nice. Got some great people there. And I still love Eddie. Like, he does amazing things I think people never hear about. You always hear about the shit, but he does great stuff. But I agree. The grand final footy show came around, and I can't even think who was in it that year, but a friend of mine, it must have been a WA team, because a friend wanted some tickets to the grand final footy show. So I rang, and it always sells out within a couple of hours. So I rang a mate, that's another rider that was still at the footy show, and said, would I be able to, reckon you could get me a couple of tickets to my mate over from WA? And he said, well, you're still on the payroll. Your name's still on the board. So everyone all the riders get 10 free tickets. And I was like, oh, awesome. Can you go and grab my free tickets? He goes, yeah, no worries. And he rang me back 5 minutes later, and he goes, I don't know how to say this, but Eddie's put a black line through your name. so he might have taken it a bit harder than I thought.
Did you write him another email after that?
I
left it after that.
You'd already told him to belt it up his ass, essentially. You weren't going to push it any further.
Imagine him putting that line through your name too, going, fucking comedians.
Fucking comedians. He just wrote Thunderstruck through it.
I think he thinks I'm a bit of a soft cock, I think.
Have you still got a relationship with Eddie Maguire, or is that done? Was that the last of it?
No, I haven't seen him since. I did do my show, a very short version of my show. It was actually my dream day. I went and performed to the guys after training as a surprise, all the players, and I thought maybe I'd bump into him that day, but I didn't. And that
Collingwood.
to Collingwood. Yeah, the entire Collingwood team. And
I got a feeling he knew you were playing.
Yeah, he got out of there. But then I did that exact night. I was on at the Collingwood past players. So that was just the who's who. Pretty much anyone that ever pulled on a Collingwood jumper. I thought he might have been there that night too, but no joy. So I've managed to. Yeah, I think he'd have enough going on in his life that he's probably moved on, and I'm here telling the story like it's the biggest thing that's ever happened to him. He forgot about me the moment I left the room. So,
well, evidently not, because he was still whinging to Will Anderson about you. So
yeah, true. I was stuck in there for 24 hours, and he put the black line through the name. So yeah.
Who knows? He could be on a podcast right this second talking about you.
Yeah, just telling the other side of the story. Yeah.
But how do you write for the footy show? I mean, like, to me, I've seen it a few times. I'm not a footy dude, but I've seen it. I thought it was funny. Love Word on the Street was a ripper. But how do you write for a show that's basically a bunch of personalities that are also kind of like talking about the game, like things that really happened? Like, what do you have to write for those guys in that situation?
It was near on nearly impossible to write for them, because it's all about chemistry and the banter, and it's not about perfectly scripted and executed one-liners. So it was more about coming up with I was writing for myself ultimately for my suburban football little part, and then it was coming up with different segments that they might do. So rather than coming up with the specific lines, it was more about coming up with different segments or some sketches that they might do. And but it was not so much this time, but when I wrote last time, many years ago, you could have the greatest sketch ready to go, and then Barry Hall he'd whack someone and go to the tribunal. So if anything happened footy related, you'd always get bumped. So it was always the amount of times we got bumped, which you just had to cop it on the chin. But that was and a lot of the stuff you couldn't use the following week either, because it was all topical. So a lot of stuff served, but that was all right.
That's kind of good though. You're kind of getting paid for nothing, really, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I'd have that job. I'd have that job any day of the week. I'll write for the news.
I just enjoyed being the fly on the wall, because all the footballers were in there just talking shop, and I just love the footy goss and all that sort of stuff. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah, would have been the perfect environment. Like, how far did you go with your footy career? You're a pretty handy footballer. I think we were talking about at that last gig we were at.
I don't think I was telling you that. I might have had a few beers. I don't know. Wasn't a. I was pretty loyal. Like, I stayed with the one club for nearly 300 games, and that's why. Like, I played in Wodonga where I grew up, and then moved to Melbourne and played for Caulfield for probably 16 seasons. So I was captain for maybe 10 years or something, but that was probably more out of loyalty than being a superstar player. But I just loved it. Just loved, and I wasn't so much. And now people say, you should coach or whatever, but I don't actually love the tactical. Like, I don't go to watch the footy and watch the tactics like some people do. I love the smell of the club rooms and the 3/4 time coach screaming at the players that's the abuse coming from the hill, and I like the sort of the little things about footy,
the atmospheric stuff about country
exactly
football.
And then the comebacks and the crowd getting into it, and the
cold weather and
Cinderella stories, and that's more what I prefer.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Sort of a nostalgia and a passion mixed, something going on when you're there. It's like it's really something, Broden. You should get into it.
Sorry, what's that, guys? I wasn't listening.
Yeah. So with my show that I do now, it's I perform it, and people probably 25, 30 to 60, 70 are the ones that really enjoy it. They're sort of looking back on their career, and as you said, the nostalgia. But the young guys, it's just changed. Like, it's changed so much. Like, even just one of the best parts of footy, and this is going to sound gay as a party hat, but was getting a beer in the shower and just standing there with your having a beer, having a shower with your mates for an hour while you're drinking beers in the shower. And just
We'd literally,
talking
Cody was
shit.
just talking about that, like, I think on an earlier episode of the podcast, I think with Boxy or something. But yeah, he loves it. Loves having a beer, shower beer with Scotty Toll and yeah.
Yeah. That's there aren't many places you crack open a beer in the shower at home. That's
on that note, actually, I think I might crack another. Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, there's something about standing around with your mates in the shower. It's been freezing out on the field. You got this. You manage to get one of the hot showers, the ones that actually pump out hot water and then crack a can.
But nowadays, because of women's footy, they've all got the cubicles, so it's just changed everything. So
that's ruined
you can't look a mate in the eye.
Which eye?
You sort of got to yell over the little podium, the little whatever you call it, there, the little wall there.
Partition.
And it's not the partition, and it's not the same.
Yeah, I want to be able to see your mates. You got to be able to see the whole package, I think.
You do. You want to be able, your eyes. It's like I say in my show. No football in Australia would be able to tell you. Would admit to staring at a teammate's penis, but every football in Australia tell you which player at their club has the biggest dick.
It's true.
I tried to ask Anthony Koutafidis about that with Ange Christou because we had a bit of a chat about their relationship in the early days and how a lot of people thought there was other stuff going on. And I was like, I pulled up this picture of Kuda in a fucking gladiators like leotard.
Yeah.
I kind of focused on his cock for a minute, and he was like, "Yeah, man." And I'm like, "Well, how's Ange Christou?" And he didn't want to say nothing.
No, he wanted to bury that again.
No. Oh, hang on, wait. Barry what? Where? No,
not talk about
a legend. No, he's great. I'd love to have him back. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a legend, Cooter. The Nelson twins. I don't know if the Nelson twins tell you the story about Cooter.
They haven't told me the story. No.
Yeah, well, they so they wanted to put a package together to go out to a country footy club and basically, the Nelson twins and Koutafidis pays for this. The club pays to get them. They play footy and then put on a show that night. And they would have charged. You charge big money for that.
They did that for a couple of years, not with Kuda, but with
I did it. Yeah, so I did it with them. So
you did it, yeah.
Yeah. So it was the Nelson twins, Evan and myself did it, but this time they would have charged a lot more than we did. But they had the Kuda come, and there was a huge crowd, so the gate was up, and Kuda was really. He didn't really want to play because he hadn't played for a few years, and they eventually convinced him just to go and stand the goal square, and he kicked 12. So, so the legend lives on of the Kuda.
It's great. Yeah.
He was talking about having a few injuries that were stopping him from playing, but I wouldn't put it past the guy to just nail 12.
Yeah. He's a freak athlete.
Still pretty athletic too. Yeah. If you follow him on social media, you'll see that. Do you have anything to do with the Long Gully Hyenas football club? I've seen you with one of their jumpers on before.
Long Gully Hyena. Oh, the
Facebook group.
Yeah. No, it's not the Long Gully.
Wasn't
it?
No.
Maybe one of my videos was with Max. He helped with one of the videos, and I think he was involved. He brought down a heap of. We didn't want to use a real club. I think it might have been our footy trips one. We didn't want to use a real club because we were like pretending to do coke and all this sort of shit. So probably wasn't great. So
well, it suits that made up club well because it is. I just always wanted to ask you about that because it's like I'm in Long Gully right now, where it's the birthplace. The footy oval's across the road from my house. So it was just like, I was like, if that's travelled that far, that's amazing because it just started within a group of blokes here in Bendigo, and it's really taken off. It's pretty funny some of the stuff they put out there.
So that's a Bendigo because there's a guy down in Geelong that does the Resi's footballer, and he's got quite a few pages, and I thought maybe he did the Hyenas, but obviously not.
Does anyone know who did it though, or?
I don't know. I've still been searching, but I'm sure we'll find out after we put this one out.
It's definitely not an actual team.
They're not a real team at all. No,
it's a good idea, and they obviously sell a bit of merch, don't they?
It's the Long Gully F&Cs, Long Gully Football Netball Club.
Yeah, nice.
And there's always jokes about like the guys carrying sawn-offs in their back pocket and shit like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
very
Yeah,
funny
it's good.
shit.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, a lot of
Let's-
reserves footballer banter and stuff like that. Stuff that a lot of the content's probably stolen from you, Tom, I reckon.
Oh, that's
A lot of
fine. That's
recycled
fine.
stuff.
I've stolen it from someone else. I'm happy to play the middleman. No, that's good. Yeah, no one wants to hear about gun footballers doing well. You just want to hear that.
No,
just
you want
the-
to hear the
Yeah.
tragics.
Burning question. I've got a burning question for you. And
Yep.
I like asking people this question because it brings up a lot of stuff. You ever seen a space alien?
No.
Ah.
And I don't even. I'm just trying to think. There's not even a story where I thought I saw one. I reckon I'm. No.
What did you say it brings out of people?
I think it brings out a yes/no answer most of the
That's
time.
right. Pretty much just no. You're a fucking idiot, mate. What are you talking about? No, I've never seen a fucking space alien. What I'm meaning to say is, you ever been on a footy trip and done so much MD you thought you saw a space alien?
No. I probably the closest. I was went through a big stage when I was 18. I'll preface this by saying I was an exchange student, and I graduated from high school over in Canada, right off the beaten track in a place called Nova Scotia, which is sort of like Canada's Tasmania, except it's joined on with a little road. You know, it's not a real tourist destination or whatever. And and it was funny. The drinking age was 19, and we're at school, and because drinking, it was really frowned upon by parents, like really frowned upon. Even an 18-year-old drinking was really frowned upon. Whereas I'd come from Wodonga, where I'd been drinking behind the goals, from the age of 15. And my parents knew I was drinking every weekend since I was 15. So it was quite a big change. So it was hard to sneak a slab around. It's not an easy thing to get around. So, and it's easier, obviously, to carry a small sachet of drugs. So we got on. I reckon I had magic mushrooms every weekend for probably 9 months, and
They worked.
Oh man, they were so much fun. And so we used to get them off the dealer over there. Perfect little gram, perfect amount, and just run around the fields and just have so much fun.
So never too many mushrooms that it all turned to shit.
Well, that's where this is going. So I eventually had so I moved back to Australia and didn't think much of it. I got back into the drinking, and one of my Canadian friends came over to visit, and so he was staying at my place with me and my dad in Wodonga. I was I don't know what I was doing, working or whatever, and he went for a couple of week backpack down the Great Ocean Road, and he came back to stay at our house for another couple of weeks and said, "Tommy, come to my bedroom." And he goes, "Fucking take a look at this." And so he'd found some mushrooms on the side of the road, and I think it was down at Polar Bay, and everyone was just they were just everywhere. And he had a bag. It was ridiculous. It's the size of this. It was a garbage bag full. So I got on the phone, invited me mates around that night. Had a friend whose parents were overseas. So I went to his place, about 10 of us, and in Canada, it was a gram. It was perfect amount. Couldn't stuff it up. But here there was no. We weren't weighing shit. We weren't making sure we had some of the stem and some of the whatever. It was just we had guys cooking tea in the kitchen. I was making pizza. I was just guys watching telly, just eating the shit. And everyone's going, "Well, it's happening," and no one else had it except me and the Canadian mate. And we're going, "Oh, you're gonna love this, boys. You're gonna love this." And then we got to that fun stage, and I reckon we were there for 5 minutes, and then we all just kept going and going, and lost nothing worse, and lost our mind. And I ended up running home. I ran because I still remember it clear as day. I had these 3 red lights on the side of my head that I thought I had like traffic lights on the side of my head, and they were fading away. And I thought once they were gone, I was dead. That was my life. And so I had to go home, and I woke my dad up, and had to go down to the hospital. And I was swinging at people that weren't there. Like it was funny. Like if you got that wipeout drunk, you wouldn't remember anything, but I remember it so clearly. And and I've never been a massive drug taker. After that, I was like, no, that's it for me. And funnily enough, when I finished high school, because I still had to finish high school in Australia because I did so poorly over in Canada that they made me do it again when I came back.
Brutal.
So and I got.
It might have been the 9 months worth of mushrooms, but
might have been.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just a bit hazy every Monday morning. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I was just a drinker. I've never been a pot smoker. I've never liked it. It's probably because I've probably into my sport more, and it was for me. It was like smoking. I didn't like the smoke in the lungs, and I went to Griffith to play footy straight after school, and big lot of pot smokers in Griffith, and there was a family there that was meant to take me under their wing and look after me while I was playing footy there, and they invited me around for dinner, and I would have been, I don't know, 19. And I thought they were older, but looking back, they were probably 30. And so I had dinner, we had a nice roast, and then they've pulled out the bong after dinner, and I've gone, fucking hell. And I didn't want to look like a lightweight, so I was doing and it was like back on. The lights were there again, and it was.
Oh no!
It was, and I'm in these people's houses I've known for an hour, and I'm like, my car was out the front, and I couldn't get into the car. I was I said, I gotta go, and I was and I sort of ran up the street, and I saw him. He picked me up to go to our first game the next few days later, and I was like, mate, sorry about that. That was fun. And he was just laughing. He couldn't have cared less, but. So I've been a bit wary that the red lights are going to appear again.
What are the red lights? What the fuck are the red lights? What are they?
No idea, but they're my lifespan. And they just slowly run out.
What are they?
No
what at the start they're bright? What are they? Traffic lights, and they're bright.
Just 3.
But they're all red. They're like racing lights.
Yeah,
beep,
like racing
beep,
lights.
Beep. Yeah.
And they slowly fade. Yeah, no good.
I can run out of batteries.
It's like
maybe it's a visual of the
in a
high.
PlayStation game.
Yeah, but how big are these lights? If you had to draw them, could you draw them and send it to us, and we can insert a photo here? Like at some point, you don't have to do it immediately, but about that big each.
How do you see them out of your peripheral vision? Like,
you know they're there. You know when you got.
So hang on.
When you got 6 red lights bolted to your head, you know they're there.
Oh, so it's 6 of them. It's not just 2, but they're like that big.
It's 3 on each
traffic
side,
lights, yeah.
3 about like so big each, right?
Yeah.
Shit, man, that's.
Yeah, it's funny. Normally you question it, but it just seems to make perfect sense.
And that's your lifespan. I love how you just say it's just my lifespan. That's
my lifespan.
It's does one go down first and then the other, or are they linked? They got
so it's out. One goes out, and then the next one will start fading. And I remember that first time, like the last 2 were on the blink, and it was like this.
So I got a trick next time you're in that situation. Turn one of them off, so this one lasts twice as long. All right?
Oh, well.
You're draining too much power. That's what the problem is. And put that one to the back of your head so it evens it out and you can't look at it.
I'm sort of hoping I won't get in that situation again.
I don't know.
So so you had
been home for 6 weeks.
You had the dessert bong, and the lights come back. That's amazing.
The lights came back, and this will be 20 years ago now. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
So I haven't seen the red lights for a while. I'm hoping that they don't rear their ugly head again because they were no fun. But
are you afraid to see them again because you're not sure what level they'll be at when you start them up again?
Oh, yeah. I assume
they'll be at max.
The second time, they've had plenty of time to charge. So
awesome.
Yeah. Maybe we should
light them up, mate. Light them up. Bloody light them up. Have a good time, you know. Fuck it. Yeah. I love that just the irresponsible people that have taken you under their wing within 1 hour of knowing you have lit up a bong.
Yeah, I know, crazy. But I think
It's
that was
Griffith.
that was Griffith. Great town, but the crazy
But like
culture.
You hear
it's
it,
not even
you
an
hear a bit about the
economical.
culture.
It's not even an economical way to smoke weed, and I don't even smoke weed. But like, even I know that if you have a joint, you can share it around. But if you load up a bong, it's like 4 joints in one hit, right?
Yeah, as I said, I'm not an expert.
It's
Don't know
it
much
is.
about it.
It's just a massive whack, and I just want to know if there's anyone out there who is a bit of a pothead that has a set of traffic lights on the side of their head as well.
I'm interested. I want to
I
research.
just want to know
see
if this
traffic lights on head while high. I got to find out. This could be a real phenomenon.
I'd say
it could mean something.
I'd say tripping rather than high.
Yeah.
Tripping. All right, tripping.
Yeah, high. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was beyond high.
Yeah, he's having a trip. Yeah.
Long exposure of traffic lights, LSD, and Reddit.
No, but that's like
Hang on.
that's going to be someone sitting at the traffic lights. That's not.
Ah,
Nah. We'll get someone
Yeah,
out there who listens to the podcast is going to send us an email saying, "Nah, he's 100% right. I've got lights on the side of my head. It's me lifespan, and they fade as the night goes on."
Although I was the only one. Like we all had our own stories, and
You were the only one with the.
I was the only one with the lights. One mate. One mate. It's quite funny actually. His mum was a nurse, so after we went to the doctors, after we went down the hospital, my dad took me around to my mate's place, knowing he's lived with his parents. His mum was a nurse to see if maybe give some tips and and see if I was all right, what I should do, and I forgot while we were going around there that their son was also running around town tripping off his head, and and I didn't know. So I'm standing in their living room, and she's got the torch, and we're doing all that sort of thing, and all of a sudden the doors come open. It was probably about 1 a.m. on. I remember it was a Thursday night because we went after footy training. We got on after footy training, and he's walked in the door, and his dad was a real knockabout bloke, just a funny bloke, and goes, "I suppose you're on these too, are you, mate?" And he's just started running down the street.
fucking hell!
Probably the worst thing you could say to someone in that status. You're on them too, aren't you?
Yeah. But he tells the story. He says that night he was laying in bed and wet his pants and had a wet dream while he was wide awake, just looking at the.
Both of those.
At the same time, just everything in his brain was just going, just telling his body to do different things.
Activating everything the dick can do it now.
Do it now. That's right. He also shit himself at the same time, vomited.
Yeah. That's
good.
amazing.
No
yeah.
good.
That's full blown. Woof.
Yeah,
well,
had the name. Yeah, we got the nickname because his dad used to stand on the hill with all the old pissheads at the footy, and they all called us the fungi boys.
A bunch of fun guys. Yeah.
Fun guys. Pretty clever.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty.
That's hilarious.
Oh god.
Oh, dude.
That is good.
guys.
What a way far off topic. Hey, look. So anyway, what I wanted to know, Tom, is you ever seen any fucking space aliens or not?
No, but I've seen red lights.
He's got red lights, man. That's better than any UFO, Area 51 secrets. This is the stuff they should be researching.
That's fucking.
What is
great.
the traffic lights on the side of your head when you're tripping?
So I want to know, Tom, what are you going to do after, like, when we're all back to work? Are you pushing it harder? Have you had any realizations like, hang on a minute, this is what I really want to do. I've had a lot of time to think about it by myself, and this time I'm going to punch it harder than ever. Or are you just going to, what do you want? What do you want out of your life for the next couple of years?
I think my stand-up, my suburban football is nearly set and forget now. Like it is what it is. So much of it's interactive on the night and stuff that happens on the night anyway now. So it doesn't have to be like I've got a few, I guess you call them chapters or things that happen throughout the night that just every night's different. So I think that's almost set and forget. So I think my next goal is just to get back into the stand up and writing more stand up and spend a bit of time watching the watching the Netflix specials, it's pretty half of it's inspiring and half of it's you sort of go, I didn't think that was that amazing. And and half of it, you see your Bill Burrs and all these, you're just like, would love to be half as good as that.
It's
and,
like a world class level, isn't it? It's
yeah. And then there's but then you see someone there that I think you think there's plenty of Australian comedians that are plenty as good as that. Like I think
I often think that.
I don't know whether you saw Mooney's last show, Moon Man. Was it?
I never saw. Yeah, I think it was called Moon Man, but I never saw it. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, I was just watching the ABC one night. It was on about. I saw it live, but it evolved real early. I saw it live, and it was great. But then I saw it just recently on ABC, and it evolved a lot. And it was maybe not quite your Bill Burrs, but it was better than 90% of the stuff on Netflix. It was so good. Was not a wasted word. Yeah, he's a
very funny man. Absolutely.
I think he's Australia's best. Personally, yeah.
Who else would you rank in your top three Aussie comedians?
Guys I personally love watching. And I love watching Chris Wainhouse. And I love as a guy in Sydney. I'm not even sure if he does it much anymore, but called Darren Casey.
Okay.
Have you heard of Casey?
Don't think so.
He's absolutely brilliant. He does a joke about this guy. He gets a taxi in Vietnam, and I'll just touch on it. This is how he thinks. It just returns real normal sort of stuff. He catches a taxi in Vietnam, and the taxi driver's got his little name tag, and the guy's name's Poo Ring Sting, and he just talks for about 10 minutes about what life would be like growing up as your name Poo Ring Sting, and it is the funniest. It is the funniest 10 minutes to stand up. And he just talks about being at Dreamworld in the souvenir shop, looking through those little license plates with your name on it, looking for Poo Ring Sting. And it is, do yourself a favour. He doesn't have a heap on YouTube, but just so good. Yeah, he's one of my favourites. And then, I love, Kinney and Thornton, all the guys I grew up with. Yeah. It is. Des, I do a lot with Des, love Des's stuff, Des Dowling. There's heaps. Nelson Twins, Evan, all of them.
Yeah. Now, all good lads too. Have you worked with Kinney? Sorry, you go, Broden. You go.
I just have a quick question for Cody. Because I'm not in the comedy game really. Cody got me in. He's like, hey, you can talk shit. Come hang out. Let's do some funny stuff. Now, I just got a quick question because I'm bad with names and I'm even worse with faces. Cody, is Dave Thornton's that guy? He's the guy who did the show after us that night for that thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the guy. I remember him. He was really nice. I remember having a chat with him after. I just couldn't remember his fucking name. Yeah. Lovely, no, he was really sweet. We did, Cody and I did this special for the Bendigo Comedy Festival last year, and I remember just sitting it because I was just sitting in there waiting after our thing, and I listened to his set, and he was fucking killing it. Really, really nice dude. After the thing.
So funny. One of the best guys at interacting with the crowd, I think, getting around is he's so good.
And now, sorry, Cody, I was going to ask that question about Kinney too, but I think yours is going to be a better version of that question.
No, you ask yours.
I forgot it already. But, you've known Troy for a long time, I imagine.
Yeah. So, Troy, well, as I said before, Troy and I started pretty much within a couple of weeks of each other, and travelled around. We've done a heap together. I've written for every series of his except the last one. I was the one that hasn't been on yet. That is probably going to be on in the next few weeks. But I was just done with that style. I think I'd exhausted every sketch idea, and so it was fine with that. I was been on a couple of his as a bit actor, but I'm a shit ass actor, so I can only do about eight or nine words before I've got to look the script again, so I'm feeling limited to what the
Why,
roles I can
why
play.
is it? Why is because I've seen the Kinney show. Why is it so much funnier than The Wedge? Do you remember The Wedge? Like I don't know anybody,
Yeah.
but it's so much better than that. Why is that the case?
Well, his he's I don't know. Well, it's Troy. Obviously, he's very
Troy's got this style about him that's just he plays that fucking failure character so well.
But he's lovable too. You know, I look at him and I
Exactly.
want to hug him.
It's like the David
and
Brent or the Homer Simpson.
Yeah,
that character. It's just
I'm on his team.
And he's so good at finding something about what everyone's thinking about now. You know, like but not only being super topical, but even stuff that's super topical that's been around for 30 years. But like you know, something the way parents talk to other parents or something. You know,
or
that
sounds only dads make.
That was
a good one.
Yeah. And no, he's just got a knack for it. And he's very good. And not many people know, but he was he still is an amazing comedian. He's a brilliant comedian. He just chooses mainly the sort of sketches and so forth now. He doesn't. I don't think he's real passionate about the stand up, but he still does his tours and sells out his shows. And he's an amazing comic. But definitely focuses more on the sketches.
Yeah, no, he's really good. It'd be good to have Troy on this sometime and have a chat to him. So I know he's a bit of a kickboxing fanatic as well over there in Tiger and shit like that. So
loves his kickboxing.
He goes pretty good too.
I wouldn't want to get a punch in the head from him. He's got a big. He's built. He's got the way he's built. He's got the big shoulders and
the trapezoid.
Yeah, he's funny. Like no one loves pizza more than Kinney. Just the amount of pizza I've seen that guy eat, and he'll come back from Australia and drink beer and eat pizza and stay up late and do his thing, and then he goes over to Thailand and it's just eats salad and does like it's almost like he's training for a.
He's on the edge though, isn't he? Because like. That's the thing is that you can be training that hard and be stacked like a boss, then come back and smash pizza and just let it go. I feel like I'm always at that point. I'm always there. I'm drinking beers like I can't fucking get enough of them. And it's just I could go at any minute.
But he's I've seen a few videos of him kicking that bag, and he loves it. And he's had a few dream gigs, I think, when the UFC fighters come down. He's got to interview a fair few of them, and it's just like me. When I get to interview the AFL guys or get to, do shows with the AFL guys, it's just a dream come true. And I think he's, same thing with the UFC guys. Just loves it.
Yeah. It'd be pretty good, especially.
Yeah. So you do your kickbox, don't you?
I train a little bit of kickboxing and jiu-jitsu.
Yep. And your by day, and this has probably been covered in every other episode. So do you work at a prison? Is that right?
I did.
Is that right?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Not anymore, but that was. I used to.
Yeah, those were the days. Stories out of that. Those were
he was the librarian at the prison.
Because Dave O'Neill's done some gigs at prisons, and
he was.
While he was in
crazy
there?
Stories. No.
Dave O'Neill came when I was working one day.
Oh, did he?
And I knew Dave, so I couldn't really go in there and blow me cover as prison officer.
Yeah.
Cody Jones. And how do you know Dave? So it's just like that would have just opened up a window of shit if that had have happened. So I was just like, I'll just stay away. But we did a gig the next day in Bendigo with Dave O'Neill, and I was just like, I saw you yesterday, mate. Saw you in jail yesterday.
Bendigo seems to have a bit of a scene going, which is good.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, a lot of.
Did.
It's building. It's good. You should
get down, man.
Down for a Bendigo Comedy Festival some year, Tom.
Yeah, 100%. And this is, I know you guys will get sick of this. In my head, I can never picture the difference between Bendigo and Ballarat. The pub or the room. To me, it's all sort of morphed into one.
Yeah.
So
I can imagine how that would happen. Yeah.
So Bendigo's one of the huge pub on the corner.
That's a couple of
You're
them.
not
But
narrowing
look, think of it this way. Ballarat has a Carl's Jr. Bendigo has meth. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think you're thinking of the Shamrock Hotel in Bendigo, the big
Yeah,
corner.
that's Bendigo.
Oh,
Yeah, and that's had a few different comedy gigs there. I've done.
Yep.
I think I've done 3 different rooms in that one venue. I've done it upstairs.
Mick Nevin
Done
used to
little
run a room there.
Yep, there was a huge one upstairs, and then there was a little one downstairs. And then we were even out in the beer garden one night. It was great. All rooms were great. They could nearly have their own little festival there.
Yeah, they definitely could.
Well, we've got we've got one that runs. It was in its second year last year.
So you guys you run that?
Mate, no, I run it by myself, mate. I do it on my own, you know.
No, there's a committee and stuff. Like everyone's sort of got behind it there. The council has got behind it and stuff like that too. So there's a bit of funding and shit like that. Like everything you could want. And what Broden was talking about before with Dave Thornton and shit like that. So he came down.
Yeah.
Dan Connell has been and Nick Kappa and all those sort of names.
Yeah. That's
on
great.
what you
really good guys.
On what you were saying about how they could have a festival. So I think at the moment, I think what they're doing is they're using the whole bottom floor for that.
Yeah.
But like what you said, they could use multi levels and have different stuff going on the whole time.
Yeah. Well, Des Dowling and I started the Albury Wodonga Comedy Festival.
Yeah, I remember seeing that advertised.
Oh man, it was and our life changed a lot throughout. Like when we started, Des had 1 kid and I had none, and by the end I had 3, and Des had 4. Yeah, we both had 3. So obviously your priorities change, and ability to jump in the car and just drive down Albury Wodonga changed. But fuck, it was hard, Jacko. Like our first show, we had 750 people to our first gala, and then had 12 different shows around Albury Wodonga, surrounding towns, and we thought, this is just going to grow every year. But every year it was just like everyone just like they'd forgotten about the year before, and we had to completely sell it to them again, and we just couldn't get any traction. Couldn't get any traction, any build. It was
country towns are too laid back.
Yeah,
they're too laid back for that sort of stuff.
I feel like. Yeah, sorry, Tom.
In the end, we didn't do our nuts, but we were counting pennies in the end to see whether we made money. So it was, we were doing everything, driving people around and working the door, and it was. I still think if we had stuck at it, because it's right between Sydney and Melbourne, and it's 3 hours away from capital city. So I think eventually it could have been
weekend
huge.
Away.
We didn't have it in us. To keep going, unfortunately.
It takes a lot of work, even for this, like the one little weekend that we do here. It's just you're constantly working for the weekend, like running the door and all that sort of stuff. Were you doing your own show as well during the festival?
MC'd a couple of just so we could, sort of welcome people.
Yeah,
a few minutes of jokes. And then bring on an act just to make sure it all ran smoothly. But Jesus, and I won't name names, but certainly made me look at a lot of comedians in a different light, and still great blokes and great mates, but fucking hard work.
I love it. I love it when people say they don't want to name names, because I'm like, give me them. I want to know.
and as I said, great blokes and still friends, but a bit. Some got a little bit demanding that I thought we might have been cut a little bit of slack, or maybe we were cut a little bit of slack being comedians ourselves. But it was just a bit much in the end.
They feel like that was their big ticket moment, and they deserve to have the rock star treatment, and you didn't deliver. So
100%. And I don't think any of them would have even noticed that we were a little bit pissed off with them.
Probably.
But anyway, it was a good experience. It was a really good experience, but a costly one.
So, you give us some hot tips for if we manage to pull out of the situation we're in right now and get a festival running. What's the top couple of things that we shouldn't do, and top couple of things we should?
Don't get on the piss every night like we did.
Oh, really?
And just wake up with a full day, because we had to be up at 8 o'clock. Setting up country halls, and because we really took it to country towns. I don't know whether you guys do that, but we were having little galas out in like Beatsworth and up at Mitter and Tallangatta, and which were great, but tough. We'd have to go there in the morning and set up everything, and then go back there with the axe. And it was pretty. Yeah, so if we probably
it seems like a bit of a spread. Like, what's Tallangatta from Wodonga? It's about 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah. Beechworth was a little bit more. Mitter was probably an hour by the time you're up windy through the mountains. So
yeah, sure.
It was pretty.
That sounds like an intensive festival. It did have a big name though. Like, it was. I was seeing it advertised heaps. And
our gala was amazing.
750 people, you said. That's
it's sold out, which was huge. Yeah, we had Tom Gleeson. Tom Gleeson? Yes, Tom Gleeson.
Yeah, that's it.
Tom Gleeson is hilarious.
Yeah, brilliant. Tom Gleeson, Fiona O'Loughlin, Sammy Jane, Randy, Fleety, all in the one show, and so it's an amazing show. And the crowd just loved it. But I think maybe that's where the gala was amazing, but it was almost our goal was that people would see Fleety for his 7-minute spot and go, all right, let's go see him, go to his show tomorrow night. But it was too soon because they would have to buy tickets for the following night. The gala was on Thursday, the show was on Friday and Saturday. So it was almost like you would have to have had the gala a month before or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so did you guys have a gala?
We do now.
Well, we did speak about it as a committee, and we spoke about doing it at the end of the weekend and having everyone on the Sunday night. We did have a free show on the opening night, which the pub got behind us and sponsored it, so we could pay some acts. Dilrook
At the Cambrian, At
the Cambrian with Dilrook and Pete Jones and stuff like that. So that was a great night. I had about 100 people there or something like that, something ridiculous for a small pub that it was. And,
that's good.
The
danger of a gala is people saying, "Oh, Thornton's at the gala. I won't go see his show." But the gala's only 5 minutes of his 1 hour show. That I think that's the danger.
Yeah.
Unless he does 5 minutes just saying, come to my show, and making it funny.
Yeah. Which you could,
Yeah, I think that is a danger, especially in the small community, the country towns, because they don't get comedy all that much, and they don't really sort of realise the ins and outs of it, the 5-minute spots and the hour shows. They just see the name in the paper and they go, oh, I want to go and see that. Yeah. However long it is, So I think that's a danger.
We had it in our head that it would be like Melbourne, and people would see one show and then quickly go down and see the other show, but it just wasn't like that. People just went and saw one show and that was it, which was fine, but it just never grew.
Aubrey and Wodonga? Aubrey's got a bit more hustle and bustle about it
100%,
as opposed to Wodonga, but
not a heap going on in Wodonga.
No.
Do they have like fights, like turf wars?
Do they what?
They have like turf wars, like Aubrey versus Wodonga.
Well, they do. So I grew up in Wodonga, which I thought was the sort of the classier of the two, until I've sort of stepped away and come back, and I'm like,
this is the Springfield versus Shelbyville.
Maybe we weren't, but it was amazing how basically the Aubrey Wodonga is the one place, basically just split by the Murray River. Mm-hmm. Yet, I growing up, I didn't know anyone from Aubrey. Like, it was people really, whether it was divided because of schools or footy or whatever. Yeah, you just knew no one. As you get a bit older, you do. But growing up, knew no one.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I think we should probably wrap it up there. Tom, thanks for your time today, mate.
No, thanks for having us. Good chat.
Anytime. That was good, mate. That was good. I really enjoyed hearing about your lights and your lifespan and stuff like that. That was really good. Tom, obviously you're going to be coming out of isolation strong. You're going to have shows going on and you're available to be booked for functions and stuff like that. And you've also got a book out. Do you want to tell us a bit about that, where people can get the book? And because it's on sale. Selling like hotcakes.
Selling like hotcakes. There we go. The Suburban Footballer. So it's it's as I say in a few of my videos, largest possible font and largest possible border to give the illusion of a thicker book. But it has.
It's got only 200 words.
Got some pictures. Yeah, good.
Yeah, no, it's got pictures. It runs through the what the rights and wrongs of shower cubicles.
Oh, there it is.
So,
The partitions.
Yeah, so the partitions and what's acceptable and what's unacceptable. So, and it's it was good fun. It was really good fun to write. I reckon. I thought I'd just had the one book in me, but yeah, I'd like to write another one.
You got another one?
Yeah, definitely got another. Not to do with footy, maybe just the red light story and just maybe 10, 15 things, moments in my life that sort of shaped me. Something, yeah.
Yeah.
I know we got to wrap it up, but I did have a quick question about writing. Two really quick questions. A, did you go to university to study for that? And B, what was it like and how long did it take to write your book, The Suburban Footballer?
No, I got 26 out of 100 in my year 12. So basically,
me too.
Couldn't have been worse. But I did do really well at English. I just loved creative writing, and it was all the only classes I went to. Basically, just really enjoyed English. So it was always, it was in me. It didn't go. I went to uni for a week doing business marketing, and then after 1 week, 2 weeks. One was O week, and then which I excelled, and then the second week, and after 1 week, I was called to the head of the Charles Sturt University, and he said, "Tommy, if you quit by Friday, you don't have to pay any money." There was a cut-off if you quit by Friday. And I said,
I'm out.
If you're telling me to quit after a week, I'm picking up what you're putting down. So yeah, so I was pretty. So I quit. Didn't even do it long enough to have to pay anything. So so I was barely there. And what was your?
How long did it take to write the book?
Because I don't have a lot of time to write to work and kids and so forth. I think it's the same with jokes and books and sketches. I think they're almost finished in my brain. And when I do sit down, there's never any writer's block. So when I did actually sit down and write it, it was 2 months. Yep. 2 months. But I got, like everything, I just got hooked and was every night. Every night, yeah. So I just didn't rest until it was finished. And yeah, in the end, you keep going forever. You've just got to eventually say, "Fuck it, that'll do," and pull the pin.
That's amazing, Tom. And where is your book available for the guys if they want to pick that up?
Just go to my Facebook page, just the Suburban Footballer Facebook page, and it's on Gumroad, which is a great site if you want to sell shit.
Yeah.
And launder money also if you.
Did you say you said Gumroad?
Gum.
I go to a different. Yeah, I go to a different one. It's a little more questionable.
Silk.
No.
Silk Road.
It sounds similar to what you said, but it's not that.
Have you seen the Case Files episode on Silk Road?
I have not.
Hands down the best 3 hours. You would
really?
Absolutely love it. So you know what, and I won't ruin any of it, but it's 100% true. It's just because Silk Road was the original guy that was selling marijuana online, and and he was like really tech savvy, and it was all this cryptic stuff, and so it couldn't be caught. No one knew anyone's name, and it was just you could basically order stuff, and then he always said he'd just stick to dope, and then it got into cocaine and guns, and it just getting people knocked off, and it is unbelievable. It is, do yourself a favour. That's my little plug for Case Files, which is about the second best on this one, the Case Files podcast. And
you heard it here.
And absolutely, and brilliant. The Silk Road, but you were saying you used one as well, but I'm guessing that was a bit dodgy.
Yeah. It's let's not talk about it anymore. Tom Siegert, thank you so much for spending your time with us. We really appreciate it, man. You've been a fucking fantastic guest and a fantastic bloke. So we appreciate you a lot. And look, man, when the lights are ready to be charged, I'm sure you'll be happy to see him again.
You'll be the first to know.
Still got plenty of light left in your lights, buddy.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Tommy. It was great talking to you, man.
Tom.